Bad habits aren't just random mistakes. They're psychological traps wired deep into your brain. From dopamine spikes to hidden emotional triggers, these routines silently control your life. In this video, we'll expose why bad habits feel irresistible and reveal how to finally break free from them. Chapter 1: Why We Fall into Bad Habits. The Science of Triggers. Bad habits don't appear out of nowhere. They sneak into our lives quietly, often disguised as small choices we don't think twice about. One late night snack, one I'll scroll for just 5 minutes, one skipped workout. At first, it feels harmless. But over time, these tiny decisions grow into patterns, and those patterns become habits. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Our brains are wired to look for shortcuts. Instead of making a fresh decision every time, the brain loves routines. It saves energy by repeating what worked before. This is why you might find yourself reaching for your phone without even realizing it, or opening the fridge when you're not hungry. It's not always a conscious choice, it's your brain running on autopilot. At the heart of this process is something called the habit loop. It has 3 parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger, maybe stress, boredom, or even just seeing your phone on the table. The routine is the action you take, like scrolling social media or grabbing a snack. The reward is the feeling you get afterward: relief, pleasure, distraction. Once this loop repeats enough times, it becomes automatic. Think about stress. When you feel overwhelmed, your brain looks for relief. Maybe you light a cigarette, pour a drink, or binge on junk food. The stress is the cue, the action is the routine, and the reward is temporary comfort. The brain learns, this works, do it again. And so the cycle continues. But here's the tricky part: bad habits often give us short-term rewards while creating long-term problems. That's why they're so hard to resist. The brain doesn't care about next week's consequences, it cares about the dopamine hit right now. This is why people procrastinate even when they know it will make tomorrow harder. The immediate relief of avoiding a task feels better than the distant reward of finishing it. Social influence plays a huge role too. We pick up habits from the people around us. If your friends always stay up late, you're more likely to do the same. If your workplace culture encourages constant coffee breaks or endless scrolling, those behaviors spread. Habits are contagious, and sometimes we don't even notice we've caught them. Another powerful trigger is environment. The places we spend time in shape our routines. If your living room has a TV remote sitting on the couch, you'll probably watch more TV. If your desk is cluttered with snacks, you'll eat more. The environment cues the habit before you even think about it. That's why changing your surroundings can be one of the most effective ways to change your behavior. Now, here's something important. Recognizing these triggers is the first step to breaking free. When you start noticing the cues, stress, boredom, social pressure, you gain power over them. You can pause, reflect, and choose differently. Awareness is like turning on the light in a dark room. Suddenly, you see what's been controlling you all along. And if you're enjoying this breakdown of how habits really work, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This way, you won't miss the next chapters where we'll dive even deeper into the hidden psychology of habits and how to break them. Subscribing is your way of staying connected to insights that can genuinely change your life. Let's go back to the science for a moment. One reason habits feel so automatic is because they're stored in a part of the brain called the basal ganglia. This area is responsible for routines and patterns. Once a habit is locked in there, it doesn't require much conscious thought. That's why you can drive home without remembering every turn, or brush your teeth while thinking about something else. The brain loves efficiency, but efficiency doesn't care whether the habit is good or bad. This is why bad habits can feel like they're controlling us. They're not just choices anymore, they're ingrained pathways in the brain. But don't let that discourage you. The same mechanism that creates bad habits can also create good ones. The brain doesn't discriminate, it just repeats what's reinforced. Imagine your life as a series of loops. Some loops bring you closer to your goals, others pull you away. The key is to identify which loops are running and decide which ones you want to keep. That's the power of psychology. Once you understand the system, you can start rewriting it. So the next time you catch yourself reaching for your phone, ask, what's the cue? Am I bored, stressed, or avoiding something? What's the reward I'm chasing? That simple awareness can transform the way you see your habits. It's not about blaming yourself, it's about understanding the invisible forces at play. Bad habits aren't proof of weakness, they're proof of how powerful the brain's learning system is. And once you see that clearly, you realize you have the ability to redirect it. Chapter 2: The Hidden Psychology Behind Bad Habits, Dopamine and Reward. Bad habits don't just happen because of triggers. They stick because of something deeper, the brain's reward system. At the center of this system is dopamine, a chemical messenger often called the feel-good neurotransmitter. But dopamine isn't just about pleasure. It's about anticipation, craving, and reinforcement. And that's where the psychology of bad habits becomes truly fascinating. Imagine you're scrolling through your phone, you see a notification, and before you even open it, your brain releases dopamine. That little spark makes you feel excited, curious, and compelled to check. The reward isn't just in the message itself, it's in the anticipation. This is why habits tied to dopamine are so powerful. They hook us before we even get the reward. The same thing happens with food. Think about the smell of fresh pizza or the sight of chocolate cake. Your brain doesn't wait until you eat it to release dopamine. It fires in advance, pushing you toward the action. This is why cravings feel so strong. The brain is already rewarding you for moving closer to the habit. Now here's the catch. Dopamine doesn't care if the habit is good or bad. It only cares about repetition. If something gives you a quick hit of pleasure or relief, dopamine marks it as worth repeating. Over time, this reinforcement builds a loop that feels almost impossible to escape. Take procrastination as an example. You're faced with a stressful task, and instead of tackling it, you decide to watch a funny video. Instantly, you feel lighter. That relief is the reward. Dopamine reinforces the escape, teaching your brain, avoiding the task feels good, do it again. The task remains undone, but the habit of avoidance grows stronger. This is why bad habits often feel irresistible. They're not just choices, they're chemical patterns. The brain is wired to chase short-term rewards, even when they sabotage long-term goals. It's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive, social media endless, and junk food so appealing. The psychology of reward is stronger than logic. Another layer to this is emotional regulation. Many bad habits aren't about pleasure at all, they're about escape. Smoking, drinking, overeating, or scrolling endlessly often serve as ways to numb stress, sadness, or boredom. The reward isn't joy, it's relief. Dopamine reinforces the act of avoiding discomfort, which makes the habit even harder to break. Think about the moment you light a cigarette after a stressful day. The smoke doesn't erase the stress, but the ritual gives you a sense of control. Dopamine marks that ritual as valuable. The same happens when someone eats comfort food after an argument or scrolls social media to avoid loneliness. The brain learns, this helps me cope. And so the habit becomes a coping mechanism, even if it causes harm in the long run. The most shocking part is how subtle this process can be. You might not even notice the dopamine spikes. They happen quickly, invisibly, shaping your behavior without conscious thought. That's why people often say, I don't know why I keep doing this. The answer lies in the brain's reward system quietly reinforcing the loop. But here's the hopeful side. Once you understand how dopamine works, you can start to use it to your advantage. The same reinforcement that locks in bad habits can also lock in good ones. If you attach small rewards to positive actions, your brain will begin to crave those instead. For example, listening to your favorite song after finishing a workout, or enjoying a cup of tea after completing a task. Over time, the brain learns, this feels good. Repeat it. The trick is to make the reward immediate. Long-term goals like, I'll be healthier in 6 months, don't excite dopamine, but small, instant rewards do. That's why building good habits often requires pairing them with something enjoyable right away. It's not about willpower, it's about rewiring the brain's reward system. Another strategy is to change the way you interpret the reward. Instead of seeing procrastination as relief, you can train yourself to see progress as the real reward. Each small step forward becomes satisfying. This shift takes practice, but it's possible. The brain is flexible, and dopamine can be redirected. Understanding the psychology of reward also helps explain why breaking bad habits feels so uncomfortable. When you resist the urge to smoke, snack, or scroll, your brain is expecting dopamine. It doesn't get it, so you feel restless, irritable, even anxious. This withdrawal isn't just physical, it's psychological. The brain is craving the reward it's used to. That's why patience is crucial. At first, resisting a bad habit feels painful. But over time, as new routines form and new rewards take their place, the craving weakens. The brain learns new patterns, and dopamine begins to reinforce healthier actions. So, the next time you feel pulled toward a habit you know is harmful, pause and ask yourself, what reward am I chasing? Is it pleasure, relief, distraction? That awareness alone can shift your perspective. You're not weak, you're responding to a powerful chemical system designed to keep you repeating behaviors. Once you see that clearly, you can begin to take control. Bad habits aren't just about triggers, they're about dopamine, anticipation, and reinforcement. They're about the brain's endless chase for reward. And when you understand that, you realize you have the power to redirect the chase towards something better. Chapter 3: How to Break Bad Habits. Proven Psychological Strategies. Breaking bad habits isn't about sheer willpower. It's about understanding how habits work, and then using psychology to reshape them. The same brain mechanisms that lock us into destructive routines can be redirected to build healthier ones. The key is strategy, not struggle. One of the most effective methods is habit replacement. Instead of trying to erase a habit, you swap it with something better. The brain resists a vacuum. If you simply stop smoking, scrolling, or snacking, the craving remains. But if you replace the cigarette with deep breathing, the scrolling with a short walk, or the snack with fruit, the brain finds a new routine to satisfy the cue. Over time, the replacement becomes automatic. Environment design is another powerful tool. Habits are often triggered by surroundings. If your desk is cluttered with snacks, you'll eat more. If your phone is always within reach, you'll scroll more. Changing the environment changes the cues. Move the snacks out of sight. Keep the phone in another room, or set up your space to encourage the behavior you want. Small changes in surroundings can lead to big changes in habits. Mindfulness plays a crucial role too. Many bad habits happen unconsciously. You light a cigarette without thinking, open social media without noticing, or eat without hunger. Mindfulness interrupts this autopilot. By pausing and observing your urge, you create space between the cue and the routine. That space is where choice lives. Even a few seconds of awareness can weaken the automatic pull of a habit. Another strategy is called implementation intentions. This means planning your response to a cue in advance. For example, if I feel stressed, I will take 3 deep breaths instead of smoking. Or if I feel bored, I will read a page of a book instead of scrolling. By setting clear intentions, you train your brain to follow a new path when the cue appears. It's like rewriting the script before the scene begins. Identity shift is perhaps the most transformative approach. Habits aren't just actions, they're reflections of identity. If you see yourself as a smoker, quitting feels like losing part of who you are. But if you shift identity to a non-smoker, the habit no longer fits. The same applies to procrastination, overeating, or any other routine. When you change the way you see yourself, your habits begin to align with that new identity. Rewards are essential in building new habits. Remember, dopamine reinforces repetition. If you want a habit to stick, pair it with something enjoyable. Celebrate small wins. Enjoy a cup of tea after finishing a task, listen to music after exercising, or mark progress visually. The brain craves immediate rewards, so give it something to latch onto. Over time, the new habit becomes satisfying in itself. Breaking bad habits also requires patience. At first, resisting a habit feels uncomfortable. The brain expects dopamine, and when it doesn't arrive, you feel restless. This is withdrawal, not just physical, but psychological. The discomfort is temporary. As new routines form and new rewards take their place, the craving weakens. The brain rewires itself, and the old habit loses its grip. Social support can make the process easier. Habits are contagious, but so is change. Surround yourself with people who encourage healthier routines. Share your goals, celebrate progress together, and hold each other accountable. The influence of community can reinforce new habits just as strongly as it reinforced old ones. Another useful technique is tracking. When you write down each time you resist a bad habit or practice a good one, you create visible progress. The act of tracking itself becomes motivating. It turns abstract change into something concrete. A simple notebook or app can transform the way you see your journey. Finally, compassion is vital. Breaking bad habits isn't about perfection. You will slip. You will relapse. That doesn't mean failure, it means learning. Each slip is a chance to understand your triggers better and strengthen your strategy. Self-criticism only fuels the cycle of bad habits. Self-compassion breaks it. The psychology of breaking habits is about awareness, replacement, environment, identity, and reward. It's about using the brain's own systems to your advantage. When you stop fighting against your mind and start working with it, change becomes not only possible, but sustainable. Bad habits may feel powerful, but they are not permanent. They are patterns, and patterns can be rewritten. With patience, strategy, and self-understanding, you can transform the loops that once held you back into pathways that move you forward.